Hello. So we have gotten to the point where I'm actually going to talk about how I started in the adult industry, and this is pretty much it right here. Um, so I received an email, or I don't even think it was an email. I think it was like a Twitter message, and it was, have you ever thought about shooting for the adult industry? And I actually did shoot for Twisties. I did a couple just solo photo shoots. There was this girl, Lindsay, and I always copied her a little bit. She was from the city that I was living in after I moved from New York, and she did modeling with Twisties and a couple other companies. And the pictures were always so beautiful. So I did, I don't know, maybe like 3 photo shoots with them. And yeah, it was really nice. And then kind of the same company, I guess a sister company of that company, wrote me and was like, have you ever thought about being in the adult industry? And I was like, no, like I did when I went to the house, but I was kind of like, I don't think so. But then I kept like kind of thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, I'm in like a different spot in my life now. I'm way more comfortable with myself. I don't know, I just felt that feeling of actually wanting to do it. The feeling that I think that I was missing the first time around, I felt it. And when I received the message, it was from Brazzers, and they were the ones asking me if I wanted to be in the adult industry. And I was like, oh my God, I need to like tell my sister Kendall, like, you know, because I was thinking like in my mind, I was like, no, but I was like, oh my God, I'm going to say yes. Like, if that even makes sense, because I was curious, I think, about so many things. I remember seeing the DP girls and loving Digital Playground and feeling like those girls were perfect, I guess, just absolutely perfect. And I really wanted to, I guess, shoot for Digital Playground. Like, I was like, I really want to shoot for them in my head. But I, went to my sister and I was like, I got this message and it's from Brazzers, which is an adult company. What do you think? And I was like, I think I'm going to do it. And she was like, you should do it. I want to do it too. Like, we should both do it. And I was just like, oh my God, I couldn't believe that she was actually saying that it was a good idea, because I was kind of scared she would be like, why would you do that? So I was still unsure, because it's a huge step, especially because it was going to be like multiple scenes and I didn't really know what to do. So I think I just didn't know what to do. So I didn't really like write back, I don't think. And then I got a message from Karen Lee that was like, are you interested in doing this? And I was like, the first thing was just like, obviously I Googled, and I was like, okay, but is this person's penis really that big? Like, that's the first thing that came to mind. I was like, and then I just started doing more. Like, I was like on their website, and I was like looking at all like the penises. I'm going to try to say it as like good as possible for YouTube, because I want to be like, oh, this, but I'm not going to. These penises, I was like, are they really that big? And that's like, I think why I did porn, is because I needed to know. And so I was just kind of like, I was like, okay, like I'll definitely like hook up with this guy, like, because that's the way my mind was thinking. I wasn't like, okay, I am ready to break into this industry, I'm gonna be the next big porn girl. I was kind of more like, I'm gonna need to see your dick. Like, I need to know, like, what is there Photoshop involved here? Is it the angle? Is it really this big? Like, I need to know, like, the truth of your dick right now. So, and then I was kind of like, okay, like, who are the other people that I'm going to be shooting with? Because, you know, I didn't really know male talent as much as I knew, like, girls. So I was kind of like, who are the girls? Or, I mean, the guys. So they sent me over, and I think they even asked me, they're like, what kind of guys do you like? And I was like, you know, whoever's Italian, because that's just, you know, the first thing I think of is I'm just like, okay, anybody Italian's fine. So I remember, I think the next one was Danny D. So it was like, and I think like the first 5 guys that I did scenes with, none of them were American. So I was like, oh, this is like new. Like, because usually I'm hooking up with American guys because that's just who's around. So, but I remember they told me like the first like, I don't know, 5 guys, because I think it was like a total of 10 scenes. So they told me like the first 5 guys, which I'm going to remember them. It was Karen, Lee, Danny D, Ramon Nomar, Eric Everhard. Oh my God, please let me remember. And I feel so, like, stupid for not remembering, because I should remember, because these were, like, my first scenes. But I'm just going to say those names, because those are the names that I remember were the first scenes that I did. So they told me them, and I'm like, okay, let's go. But I remember, like, when I did this scene with Danny, I remember Karen was like, oh, yeah, his dick's really big. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, like, what's really big? Because your dick's really big. Like, what? Like, hold on here. And then I remember being like, I just, like, saw Danny's dick from, like, far away. And I was like, is he holding something? I don't know why, but I was so confused. I was like, is he holding something? Like, is that his dick or is he holding something? Like, just randomly. So that was, like, an interesting experience because I really didn't know dicks were, like, that big. Even though I had, like, you know, a situation when I was younger. I remember I was like, you know, hooking up with this one guy when I was young, and I remember he had like a really big dick, and I still to this day like remember being like, this doesn't, like, sweating, like, this doesn't make any sense, like, how can these girls just do this? Like, so I had a little bit experience with like seeing like really big ones, but I think it was, I don't know, I guess different when you're like in that situation. I don't know. So I was just really excited when I saw pictures of the guys. I was like, okay, that's my reason for saying yes to this situation. And I got really lucky because, you know, they're a huge company and, you know, all those guys, Danny D, Karen Lee, they're all like ridiculously just famous. So, I got lucky that I got in with such like a good group of people at that point in time. So I was ready to shoot. Like, I was like, let's go. And I made sure to get all ready for my shoots. I was like, this is going to be like, I'm going to make sure my hair is done, my nails are done, I have the right tan going, like everything is perfect. And I was just so excited to be able to shoot. And I think my first shoots went so well. And it was the perfect timing, I think, too. I think at that point in my life and everything just really worked perfectly. And my sister Kendall, she was doing Girl, so she was kind of like working her way up to getting to more comfortable because she was definitely way more shy than me. But yeah, that's kind of like my beginning story, and I'm so thankful to Brazzers for, like, I don't know, hiring me for the beginning of my adult industry career. Thank you. I love all of you guys, including you guys, Brazzers. Thank you. Okay, so this is the end of this one. I'm going to add something to my next one, get a little bit more into things, but thank you for watching my adult industry start story.